Okay, so someone, I forget who now, one of my new patrons, asked for a video on starting a business, basically, and my thoughts, and how to, cheap up your life, basically, to put more money into the business and kind of shit like that. And I figured I would do that in the shop, or really in the wreckage of what's left of the shop. And my advice to you, first, if you're starting a business now, is primarily don't. That's not every business, but most businesses don't start one now. This person in particular was talking about lawn mowing. That's a thing that in the summer in the South, everybody still needs. Especially with city ordinances and shit like that. I like that hammer. So that's not so much applicable to you. But the reason I say not now is just because of the economy. But, if you are not charging much, or not charging as much as big commercial outfits, and still where you can make money, and have a market of people to do this for, wow, spooky. That's a good business to be in. There's a ghost fucking with the lights. Or it's that bulb about to go out. I have a lot of LED bulbs that are on the edge of going out. I need to just go and buy a big flat of them. Well, that's annoying as all hell. We'll come back over here. Other thoughts on business. For cheapening up your life, learn to live with less. Would be my advice. And if you can cut it, cut it. And especially when it comes to things you don't really need to do. I cut a whole bunch of shit that I really didn't need to do from my life. One of the last ones here was I cut going to the movies, and that one hurt. But in reality, I like watching stuff at home anyway. And I don't know. I kind of lost all interest in going to the movies during sometime after COVID, really. The world started getting weirder and shittier, and I've got shit to do. And, it seems like a waste of time and money right now, basically. Kind of like starting a business right now is a really bad idea. Money's about to be really, really hard to come by. And that means that a lot of businesses are going to be closing. That's why you don't want to be opening one. If you do open one, I would open something that people have to do, have to buy. Like cheap food and lawn care, roofing, carpentry maybe. Some of the, not crafts, trades would be really good to get into. At least for a little bit, tide you over, make some money, squirrel it away, do something else later. And this is the thing that learning about mountain men lately has taught me. It's not about whether the business succeeds or not. It's whether you did the thing you wanted to do. Whether you made any money at it, whether you had fun at it. If you supported yourself at it and learned how to do something that you wanted to know how to do, I think that's a successful business. So it all depends on your point of view, I guess. And one of the mountain men I was listening to a video about in particular was the guy that Jeremiah Johnson was based on. There's something liver eating Johnson. And basically, if you can name it, he did it in the Old West. He wandered around and, did various things at various places, and it was all, soldier, sailor, cabin builder, frontiersman, Indian fighter, shit like that. But like this, I think, was many, many guys back in the day. And I think that's the way you're going to have to be if you're going to survive and have any sense of independence at all. These forefathers of what we are today, these mountain men, I think would love seeing us here on the internet pretty much in isolation, either at our forge or out in the woods or wherever it is we happen to be, and sending our message back to the world about what it is we think. Honestly, I think that's the only thing they were missing. After hearing about them, I think that basically, if you're watching this, you or I or anyone that's like us, we could have easily been one of these mountain men. And that's my point, is now in the 21st century, they're in an effort to vainly control the world. Go feral. Fucking live in a van in the mountains. Fucking pack up your tools and move from town to town. Be a hobo. I don't care. There's a bunch of shit you could do. All of that shit's way cooler than working for the man and saving up a bunch of fucking money that's going to be worthless anyway. And maybe I'm crazy. And, likely. But that's my view on it. I like the skills that I learned here, and I like the tools that I kept. And I kept these tools in particular because most of what I do to make knives is right here. And this stuff's pretty cheap, and it's made to suit me because I made it. And the stuff that I sold was stuff that didn't really work for me. It was big, it was electronic. Like my drill press was wearing out. My bandsaw, I kind of would have liked to have kept, but it was a lot of money. And in reality, I don't think I'm going to be able to power the one I had. So I'm going to have to buy a new one anyway. And that's going to suck. But, it is what it is. Might cheap out on that in the next round. See how that goes. Buy a bandsaw to review. I figure if I ever buy a bandsaw again, though, I'll be setting this shit back up at a cabin in the woods to do cabin-y shit. And that's the thing about this forging setup is you can do a lot of shit with this. Like, I can make knife blades with this, but you can make any metal hardware you might need for this. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I could show you to make with just this anvil, vise, and hammer and that propane forge. And maybe make a video like that soon. I've been trying to save propane, and I don't want to open this place up. But it would be fun to forge. It would be interesting to do it without any way to grind metal. I don't even have a hand grinder. Like, I think I have a file. Might have a hot rasp somewhere around here. So, ish. But, like, that's not ideal. For more business tips, I would go to a bank. Go to a bank and talk to a banker and see what he has to say. I did that here recently, and they had quite a bit to say about quite a few things. As you might imagine. I was just telling him my woes. My woes are such that, like, basically the fucking commies run the world. See? Commies. And PayPal sucks. That's my woes. And as soon as I can get that solved and get some land to do this on, we'll be back in business probably. I kind of think my new business model is going to be making shit I want to make and then auctioning it off. I think that's a better way to go than what I was doing before. And that's another thing I have to say to you too is no matter what you're doing, don't ever undersell yourself or underestimate your worth. You could be worth quite a bit more. And especially like if you're doing something you hate and you're artsy, pursue your passion. Whatever that thing is that you always wanted to do, that's where the money is. I made more money making knives than I made doing anything else in my whole life. believe it or not. And it wasn't like, oh, I made so many knives or whatever. I made quite a few knives. I have pictures of a bunch of them that I showed in the slideshow that I did on another video. But it was just, I produced nice stuff that people wanted, and I got good money for it because I was selling them one, two here and there, and it was hard to get my shit. And that's one of those things. You should never, if you're in the business of making something, it should never be easy to get your shit. Ever. Tell everybody you got an 8-week lead time. My old goal was tell them 8 weeks, have it there in 4. Now my new goal is fuck it, I don't care. I'm just going to let people fight over them. And, maybe that'll work, maybe it doesn't. And if I have one that doesn't look good, maybe it doesn't sell as much. It's capitalism at work, folks. Everyone likes capitalism. Let's try, on the other side. Instead of you being the capitalist and capitalizing off of my hard efforts, why don't I capitalize off of you guys fighting to the death over my knives? I would think about shit like that for your business. Also, marketing. Marketing and advertising are key to any business. If you really want to be successful, people have to know that you are in business. And if you want to talk more about marketing and advertising for your business for yourself, we can talk about that. But what I would do is find someone in your area that does this. If you have a lawn business, and I would pony up some money and I would pay for some ads, and I would go into that charging good money for doing lawn service and doing good jobs. That's what I would do. The other route to go is you and some buddies starting to mow lawns one at a time, doing a really good job, getting paid in cash. That's a good way to go. It's more difficult to make ends meet that way, I would say. And the other way takes more money because you're going to have to hire guys, because if you're advertising that much, you might want to have more than one crew. And that runs into who you're going to trust to run it. And that's it with basically any business. And, that's kind of why I just do my own thing and fuck around and try to make money and, I don't know, exist. I try to exist and be penniless, because in America it's difficult to punish the penniless. That's what I found. It would be my advice to you. If you really want to be free, own nothing and like it. Oh, seriously. Not own nothing, but own less. Own something really small that nobody else fucking wants. This is the key. This is what my ancestors taught me about Oklahoma. If you get a shitty enough piece of land, it takes a long time for them to come for you. It has taken, 100 and so years for them to come for us in Oklahoma. They're coming. Time to move. Californians are coming. That's where I'm at with it. There's so many fucking people moving to Texas now. Oklahoma, I think, is slightly better, but even Oklahoma here, there are people buying houses here for double what they're worth because they're crazy California people and they don't know. The housing market everywhere is fucked because of the Californians. They didn't even bother to research what land sells for in Oklahoma, and even if they did, there were so many of them buying, it started a bidding war amongst rich fuckers. This is in essence why, you need to buy land quickly. As quickly as possible, I would buy as much land as you can, and then I would fortify it. And then figure out how to make money off that land. And now, a lawn business, that's a really good idea. Because, you can store all that shit in a shed. If you're camping in your car, building a cabin, lawn business, you go buy a portable shed and throw that shit up and boom, lawn business. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but if you're good at mowing a lawn and are young and strong and don't have any health problems, that's a great way to go. Other things I would suggest is firewood. If you buy a big acreage with wood on it, you can cut firewood for a long goddamn time. And split firewood sells for a lot. And I saw a machine the other day that 2 guys could split enough wood to fill the Titanic in a couple of days with it. What I intend on doing is once I get land in the cabin, I want sheep. And I figure I'll eat the sheep, and sheep make wool. Wool sells for something. That's my plan. And like, this is how I think everyone should be running their shit. You're all really a business. You know, if this is how they want to play, like, start being a business. Start making money on the side. You get my drift? You know, who knows how many of whatever you actually did. Just advice. And other advice. If anyone ever offers you money for free, tell them no thank you. If you start a business doing pretty much anything, you'll see what I mean. It happens. I'm pretty sure there's Satan. Be careful who you get involved with in the business world. Not everyone is friendly Aunt Ray Ray. Some people are bloody fucking psychos. Ow. What was that? I think someone just bit my elbow. Well, I'll see you guys later. I hope this helps somewhat. Ask another question if it didn't.